Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Late Night Birmingham. Tonight will be the fourth year since a company of middle school boys fell stranded in an island without any adults to protect them from any atrocities that would occur in that condemned island. Is fellow interviewer Christopher Robbins.
I'm here with Jack Merity, one of the sole survivors of the island. How are you, Jack?
I'm actually doing quite well. I became the choir leader of the Maserati Choir.
That's pretty good. You gotta be pretty prideful of that, wouldn't you?
I am pretty prideful of that, and I take the most pride from leading my choir away from mediocrity and into success.
That's pretty good, but how about we start talking about the island?
Sure, let's talk about the island.
Well, on the island, our scientists conducted that there were multiple bonfires, multiple fires in general, but the fire that I really want to talk about today is the fire that lit the whole island. What happened there?
Well, I'll tell you what happened. We were playing a game, and the kid dropped a torch.
What game were you guys playing?
Hunters and Prey.
Hunters and Prey.
Yeah.
Who were the hunters?
The torch fell when a kid just tripped on a rock and he was carrying the torch. Me and my group were the hunters, and Ralph volunteered to be the prey.
Why would Ralph be lying? The same Ralph that you guys elected as chief.
Well, Ralph would be lying just as I said to save his ass.
Language. But, so everything that Ralph has said from the interview is a lie then. Am I correct?
Yes.
So everything about Piggy, everything about Simon, everything about that night that Simon went missing, everything about the beast, is that all a lie?
Well, we were just kids. We believed that the beast was real.
Mm-hmm.
Now Simon, he disappeared after at the night of our first feast. I don't know much about that.
So you and your group murdered Simon?
We did not murder Simon. We murdered the beast.
But you just said that the beast was Simon.
Yeah, but Simon is the beast, so we murdered the beast.
So Simon was the beast.
Yes.
So Simon was not human.
He wasn't human.
So then, his parents, his other family members, his friends, Ralph, Simon's not a beast, according to you. Simon is a beast, according to you.
Yes.
Then, well, since Simon is a beast, what does that make Piggy? Since Piggy also died at your guys' hands. Ralph said from our interview that you and Roger planned Piggy's death.
If anyone between me and Roger would have planned Piggy's death, it would be Roger.
Why would that be Roger?
He was throwing rocks at little kids before my group was even formed. And how did Piggy die? A rock.
But that doesn't exactly say anything. You, from what we could gather from Simon and Eric even, we interviewed them as well, from what we could gather from them, you and Roger were beating other kids who disobeyed your rules. Is that correct?
That to an extent is correct, but Roger was the one that started it, not me.
So you're admitting to not just not stopping Roger, also continuing the fact that you knew that this was wrong, but you kept on going with beating the kids, even though you were the leader of your fort?
Look, you don't. At that point, if you wouldn't want to be betrayed, okay? That was just an extra step to ensure that we would be led into success.
But then, still, everyone, from what we could gather from Ralph, everyone was with your group, except for Ralph and Piggy. Then, miraculously, when Ralph and Piggy went to get Piggy's spectacles, you start attacking Ralph with full intention to hurt him, and then Piggy dies, from what you say is Roger.
Yes.
What doesn't that not make sense from what you're saying, since Piggy was also an eye for you to be gone?
Look, there's people that we just don't like. I just didn't like Piggy. But this doesn't mean that I would have wanted to murder Piggy. I wasn't the one that threw the rock. It was Roger that threw the rock. So stop telling me that I was the one that killed Piggy.
But that still doesn't suffice because you still were trying to kill trying to kill Ralph. You had full intention when you were battling Ralph to kill him.
Yes, because Ralph, he was also going after me. You wouldn't. If someone was attacking you, you wouldn't want them to continue attacking you. You try stopping them by attacking them back.
I never said anything about Ralph trying to hurt you or Ralph trying to attack you. Ralph said that he was simply trying to get Piggy's spectacles back.
Look, Piggy's spectacles are key to survival.
How so?
Look, there was no other way to start a fire that we knew as a kids, apart from using Piggy's specs to start a fire.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't cook pig's meat without fire.
But by then, you already had a fire from what Ralph said. You already had a fire, and so also somewhat from what Seminaric said. You already had a fire by then, and, excuse me, Ralph just went to negotiate with you about the spectacles. To negotiate you with the fire, but then you persisted on attacking him. Why is that?
Because he wasn't negotiating to share the spectacles, he was negotiating to keep the spectacles to himself.
Because it's Piggy's spectacles. He needs them in order to see, am I correct?
Yes, but Piggy rarely does anything to lead any group to success. He only says that the only good idea he had was to do a signal fire, or to do a fire in general.
But then, going back to Roger, how could this all be just Roger's doing? Since you also persisted on beating kids who disobeyed you, since you also persisted on plotting Piggy's murder.
Look, I've done some bad things, but Roger has also done the majority. I didn't kill Piggy, Roger killed Piggy, and I wouldn't do that.
So you're saying that even on the island, you still had a clear mind, and you still
No.
had...
I wouldn't have had a clear mind in the island. I mean, I just fell asleep on the flight, and then I wake up and I'm on the dirt. No one would have a clear mind after that.
So then you're saying that your actions to Ralph, your actions to Piggy, your actions to Simon, your actions to everyone, to beating the children that disobeyed you, are all because of the island? Or is there a deeper theme into it?
Well, you guys haven't been to the island. You don't know what that would do to you, and it's not the same, and it wouldn't be the same age, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it would have been like, I'm a kid and this has happened to me.
But then, wouldn't you still sort of have a choice at the time? You'd still sort of have a clear mind. You had enough of a clear mind, not a fully developed mind, but enough where you had the idea to be chief, had the idea to lead these children, had the idea, not the idea, but had the clear knowing that you still knew that you were doing all of this at the same time.
Well, I think my mind at that state was success. Success no matter what.
Success for what?
No matter what.
Success for what though? What do you want success of?
I think I thought of success as surviving on the island as long as we can to build our own civilization.
Mm-hmm.
You
But
know.
then when we found you, when the naval officer found you, we found Ralph bloody from running, and he told the naval officer that he was running from you, the hunters, and that when the naval officer found you, you and your hunters were shirtless, in shorts, paint all over,
Yes, a game of hunters and prey.
Then-
Ralph volunteered to be the prey. We were the hunters. He was to be expecting that.
But then why is Ralph saying that you guys were taking it a step too far and literally hunting Ralph as if he was a pig?
Look, he never said anything throughout the whole thing like, hey, this is going a bit too far. We thought that he was just engaged in the game.
But then wouldn't one of your people in the group notice that you and your group were going too far?
No, because we saw Ralph engaging in like hiding and then like, crap, Ralph's putting more effort into the game than we are. We need to step it up, right?
So then why did Sam and Eric say that you lit the bush that started the fire?
I lit the bush to smoke him out, you know? He put the effort into hiding and it was a pretty good hiding spot until we asked Sam and Eric to give it to us.
But then, so you were smoking him out,
Yeah.
from your words. Why would you risk the fact of smoking him out if this is just a game? Instead of just smoking him out from the bush, opening the bush or tearing apart the bush and just taking him there.
Because we noticed that one of our spears were missing and we thought like, crap, Ralph is actually this engaged into the game. It's dangerous to come near him because he might stab us with a spear.
But then Ralph and Sam and Eric also said that you said that basically forget the rules, because Ralph, Sam and Eric all said that at one point you said screw the rules, and you ignored the rules, and you took your band of hunters, started painting your faces, started going shirtless, and started killing pigs. Am I correct?
Yeah, well, that also shows the flaw of Ralph's leadership. Because my whole group of hunters were once his group of, were part of his group.
Mm-hmm.
And if I was able to get them to go on my side, then that shows that the huge flaw, that they saw the flaw in Ralph and saw that Ralph is just manipulating them for his own gain.
But what is he manipulating them for? He's only trying to survive.
Yeah, but he's giving them false hopes. Like, the thing that he kept shoving down our throats was the signal fire.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there was only one time that the signal fire would have helped us, but for the rest of the thing, it was my fire that helped us.
The fire that you made accidentally.
Still my fire.
Still accidentally though. You never purposely planned this fire. You only planned this fire in a game when it got too out of hand.
Yeah, but under whose rule did we have the most success of survival?
Under whose rule?
Yeah, my rule.
So you were the ruler
I
of
was
this.
the chief. I was the chief.
But then Ralph says that he was selected chief and you took over his rule.
Yeah. He was elected chief, but then when I left, everyone saw the flaw with Ralph and decided to start following me. So in a way, after they saw the flaw in Ralph, they elected me as chief.
But then, still, what about Piggy? Piggy, from what I can tell, was the only sane mind in this whole situation. He saw the flaw in both Ralph and you. How you kept on ignoring what Roger was doing. You kept on persisting on beating children just because they disobeyed your laws, and you and Roger plotted to kill Piggy.
Are you saying I'd kill someone? I would never do that in my life.
Calm down. Jack, please calm down. All I'm saying is it is a possibility.
Thank you, Chris. Well, that was the end of our interview. One more question before we go. Are we all more susceptible to commit atrocities when not restrained by morality or civilized standards?